Welcome to another episode of the Mike and Matt Show with myself, Matt Weber, and my partner and co-host, Michael Strasser. This podcast is designed to help provide insight into the world of real estate investing, entrepreneurship, personal development, and business. Please subscribe, follow, and like the Mike and Matt Show on all podcast platforms. You can listen and watch the show on our YouTube channel, Alpha Funding. Be ready to level up your life and be inspired by some of the most successful investors and business professionals in the game. You'll laugh, you'll learn, you might cry. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Mike and Matt Show. We have a wonderful guest for you today. I'm so excited. You're going to be finding out about how to find the secret sauce to be successful here in life and also in your business, especially in real estate. I'm here with my faithful partner, Michael Strasser.
What's going on, Matt?
I'm doing
It's
fantastic.
Yeah. It's not like I don't see you all the time.
Well,
I get
to really see you now because of this angle that we have. We kind of adjusted the...
You have really pretty eyes.
Thanks,
just
man.
From here, I can see it. I don't usually look, but now I am.
All right. Well, we're on a tight schedule here. We're going to get a lot accomplished here today. We have superstar Queenella Gibson in studio. Queenella, welcome.
Welcome to the Mike and Matt Show.
Thank you. Mike and Matt, thank you.
Yeah. So my connection to Queenella, actually 2 years ago, so it's been a little over 2 years, we did that Find and Fund event, remember?
Yes, with a few individuals from the industry,
Mm-hmm.
a credit repair specialist, a developer, and a title rep, right?
Yeah, we had the credit dude. We had Gabe,
Mm-hmm.
De Silva from De Silva Homes, Vanessa Lott from Lott Title. It was fantastic. Mike, do you remember what that event was?
I want to tell you that I do. I don't remember my breakfast.
Well,
What, did you come? Were you there?
he was not there.
I was not there.
Yeah, because I
He's the brains behind the operation. He's like the man behind the curtain a lot.
Yeah, I'm the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
I just I pull all the levers.
And am I Pinocchio?
No, you wouldn't be Pinocchio, but sure, if you're feeling that way.
Okay. Well, the event
You're a
was,
real boy. Let me tell you that.
Thank you. I am a real boy. So it was an amazing event. We had cigars. We had whiskey. You did a fantastic job. We had a ton of people there. So many investors.
We were at Tonito Cigars, I believe, in Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Great vibe, great energy, and a lot of information, too, that was shared that evening.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do it again.
We will. We will. You hold amazing events.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I know you have an event coming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
But just want to welcome you to the show. I want to know what's new and exciting in your world.
What's new and exciting? Well, what I'll share is what many people don't know about is we had opened up. Well, when I say we, it means the company opened up an office in Union, New Jersey. So now when we are coaching, our colleagues in real estate or those who are interested in investing in real estate, we're not just doing it virtually online. People tend to question now a lot of the courses that are being done online or giving their money to Instagram gurus, right? And so I felt, when you have an office, you build trust that way because they know where to find you. So, and then it's in person. I'm a hands-on learner, not really great with lectures. So we realized there's a group of people that probably want to learn real estate and may be frustrated with the courses or receiving direction from individuals online because they can't touch and they can't really practice and have a hands-on learning experience. And when you think, of how we were taught and how we were able to receive information as children, we had so many tools, right? We had the chalkboard, you have crayons, we have paper, we had objects to try to figure out the math, right? So that's what we do to pretty much make it easier to digest. And then me being a realtor, I'm able to pull up inventory right there on the spot. We're like putting contracts together, so it's fun to do numbers and then to see the numbers work. And someone in the room is like, you know what, Queen, you're licensed, right? Can you put an offer in for me, right? So it's just a different experience that we provide because we're not just giving you information about, the market here in New Jersey, but it's information that you could apply to any market It's just about knowing your numbers, having the right team, partnering with the right hard money lender that could provide the funding to get these deals done. So, yeah, that's what's new and exciting, I guess, to the public. But for me, it's something I've been doing.
Do you feel like there's a different energy and accountability when you're in person?
Absolutely. Someone that actually shows up to a location and not just pulling out your phone for a Zoom call, because that's what most do. I find that when we do anything virtually, someone's in the car, you're not getting it. And then at the end of the course, you're upset because you didn't get it. But then you need someone else to blame, right? You won't take accountability, right? So the individual that's responsible, right? And they really want to get this information, understand it, apply it, do something with it, and build wealth. They show up to these establishments at the time that they're supposed to show up, right? And then they take it seriously because I'm in this space. It's like going to the gym, working out. You're a trainer.
Yeah.
It's one thing to work out at home. It's totally different.
It's environment.
Yes.
It's environment.
Yes,
and you know what you're
is.
also doing is you're creating community. And I
absolutely.
love that.
Absolutely.
Because now all of a sudden you have people that, you just started this, right? It
Yes.
was this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're opening up all these doors. And like Mike said, there's nothing that replaces being in person.
Yeah.
And the digital stuff that we were able to do over the last few years and having the ability to be hybrid and being on these Zooms or Google Meet, whatever the video medium was, that's a tool. And I think we sometimes in life, we just, as a society, we swing so far to one side and we got so far into the digital world, nothing replaces being in person.
Nothing.
Well,
Nothing at all.
I think there's benefits to everything, but it's like you're not going to learn how to play basketball sitting in front of your TV watching people play basketball, right? Like you have to go do it. And I think real estate's the same way. Like, do you feel like when you see your group of students come in and they start talking and they're interacting with you, can you pick out the one that you know is gonna that you know by the end of however many weeks it is or whatever that you're like they're gonna do something?
It's
like,
the one that
tell.
stays behind. It's always the one, everyone's ready to go and it's the one that I'm like, oh God, right? Because I got another appointment or I'm hungry, I want to eat. But they stay behind and they're like, Queen, but it was something you said and da-da-da-da. But what interests me and I forget all about my reasons for wanting to go with the crowd. I stay behind because they actually, like, the dialogue is different. I can see the passion, I can see the hunger. And it was one individual, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if I can even say what he's doing right now, but he ended up networking with, because I told him, I said, listen, this is what you do, because you're like begging for information. You really, and not so much begging in the sense like on his knees pleading, right, with no dignity, but in the sense like, look, I really want to get this. I really do. So if I don't want you to hold back any information, tell me what to do right now and I'll get it done. I said, okay, open your phone, unlock your phone. I said, how many contacts do you have? Log into your iCloud, look at your contacts, how many you have. He had like 2,200. I said, okay, start calling people in your phone. The first 5 people he called, he partnered up with 2 individuals, and he's now wholesaling properties in Texas, Virginia, upstate New York, where my mom is, because I have him looking at stuff for me, right? And he's just like addicted to it now. And I told him, I said, don't always look to me to provide inventory. You have the opportunities right there in your phone, believe it or not. I said, you just got to let everybody know that this is what you're doing. And that's it, So for me, it's the ones that show up and the ones that, it's one thing when you show up. It's the individuals that I know, like, okay, he's going to do something because you're networking in the classroom. Or if it's a one-on-one session, our time should have ended at 3. We're still here at 4. Because you're asking questions. It's interactive. You're not just taking the information, taking it down, and saying, okay, thank you so much for your time. Because for me, it's like, hey, I don't mind getting paid and going home with a check. But also the reputation of the business means something. I want someone to be able to write a testimonial and not just say, oh, the information, I've never heard this stuff before, or they really break it down. That's cute. That's cool. But it's another thing to hear someone say, listen, I made 6 figures this year because of her.
It's funny. It's like when you're in school, it's like you get a test at the end. And the
Mhm.
only test at the end of this is whether or not you go out and make some money.
Right.
So most people don't realize, like, you got to, you sit through the lecture, you got to do something with it.
You have to do something with it.
Do
a
you?
lot of people don't.
Do you remember, to juxtapose this, do you remember when you were that person, if you could kind of share a little bit of how you got started, who that mentor was, that hunger, that just that thirst for information, and where you are right now, and kind of tell us a little bit how you got to where you are now?
So the thirst for information, you can't expose me to anything. I try to learn it all. I want to do it all, right? And that's probably why I wear so many hats. But I now know and have the understanding that, Queenella, you're never going to accomplish anything if you're doing everything. Okay. So it's one thing to get all the information and know how to do everything, but you don't have to do everything. So some things you have to delegate. You have to build a team. Or if you are just someone that wants to be solo, you don't want to partner up with anyone, meaning we're going into business together, hire vendors or build these relationships, like a hard money lender, like Alpha Funding, the title company that you can call to that can get it done quickly. And because you're constantly giving business to them, right? The law of reciprocity. If there's an opportunity for me to, sit at the table and there be an opportunity presented from these vendors, hey, I'm top of mind because we have that relationship. So my passion for just information and building these relationships came when I realized, okay, how is it that I'm a realtor? I have all of this knowledge, and I can help many people build wealth, but I'm not doing it for myself, right? So it went from, just wanting to produce, and not necessarily having a sell like in real estate as a realtor, but produce meaning, oh my God, look, this person is doing great. And look, I was able to find this opportunity for him. And this investor made X amount of dollars. But Queen, what did you make? A small check as a realtor? Are you kidding me? Realtors have to get out there and become the investors as well. So females are dominating. When it comes down to being a realtor, we're more dominant, right? The females. But when it comes to investors, the males are taking over the industry or that field because we're not really putting ourselves out there. And I think it's because most of us are too busy in the books. And like what you said, we don't really go out into on the court to play. We just want to know it all and be the consultants. But we're not the ones that's actually out there taking the risks, taking the chances, and making money alongside the guys that are taking over the industry right now. So the passion is there now. I would love to have a nice portfolio and not just be an owner of my home and my mom's home. Like, I want more. I want to do more. So lately, that's what we've been doing. We've been shopping. We've been investing. We've been, listen, if I have to give you money to invest and I receive equity from it, there's so many ways to make money in this market. You do not have to just stop. If you're a realtor, you do not have to stop at just having a license and assisting buyers and sellers. And if you are an investor, you don't stop at just fixing and flipping, like buy and hold some of these properties. Like, what is your retirement plan? Like, you're not going to be doing this forever. This fixing and flipping is going to tire you out. It's going to burn you out. So you need other ways to make money.
How long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor since 2017.
And then what were you doing before that?
Prior to that, I was an at-home mom managing kids.
All right. And then who?
A household full of children.
What drew you to being a realtor?
So we were in the process of purchasing a home, my partner at the time. And we were being misled. I didn't like the information we were receiving. And the contracts that were being thrown at us to sign, I'm like, what is I don't know what any of this means. And he said, you know what? You're very anal, and I'm big on risk management. So he said, we're never going to get this done unless you're the one doing it. So go ahead, go to school and get licensed and represent us. I said, okay, cool. Went to school for 2 weeks. We started shopping in August of 2017. I went to school September, took the course, passed. I took the test later that month, the end of September, and was licensed October. We closed on a property in December. So he was right. He was right. What made me stick to it was, one, the deposit that we made was also the commission check. So it was like, wait, hold on. did the money we spent was returned? So we pretty much got like a free house. Is that what happened? So that was pretty cool. And then two, the idea that I got into this business because the information wasn't there. You know, people just assume you know what you're doing, or that individual is just all about that commission check, that they're not educating you. You know, you're dependent on that individual. And I don't know if people hold the information because they don't want their clients to know as much. But if your client feels empowered and they feel like, okay, you're like the only person I trust because I feel safe with you because of the information you have given me, they're not going to take your job. So don't be fearful of that. If anything, they're going to refer more people to you. So I got into the business for that reason. I was an at-home mom for about 9 to 10 years. They're all, you know, in school. I'm bored at home. And I saw this as an opportunity to bring in more income and potentially buy more investment properties, you know. And it went from that to he opened up so many, you know, businesses, restaurants and stores. You know, don't stop at just that commission check.
For a lot of people, when you study success, you notice that there's always usually a mentor. There's somebody that really has a positive influence on you, helps you kind of shave down that learning curve. Mm-hmm. Who was a mentor for you as you were coming up the ranks?
I would say crazy is my ex. You know, he was very knowledgeable about a lot of things. He threw the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He gave me that book. He gave me 40 Laws of Power. I read that as well. He talked to me about real estate, realtor. I didn't know what that word meant until 2017 because I didn't care for it. My mind was on, you know, just being a mother to my children. So a lot of the things that he exposed me to, I didn't know anything about. So, and then pushing me in the direction to get into real estate. From that point on, it was like, I mean, so many people inspired me. Did anyone ever take my hand and guide me through everything? No, I kind of had to figure it out. Because most people in this industry, everyone's trying to get to the next level. So it's kind of hard to kind of slow down a little bit and carry someone with you. But when you find someone that's willing to do that, the law of reciprocity, you have to figure out a way to return that favor because it's not easy to work on your business and help someone else get there as well. So unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to tell me the steps. A lot of what I know, it was through trial and error. It was, you know, taking courses, spending a lot of money on courses. Like you asked me earlier, and I didn't even, I didn't answer the question because I'm like, let's save it for the interview. I did take the short sale foreclosure course to be a negotiator. And even in doing that, the information I was shared is always just basic information. I feel like even when you went to school to get your license to be a realtor, they just tell you enough to keep you out of jail. You know what I mean? That's it.
At least they're giving you that much.
They
right?
give you that much, yeah. So
That's
just enough. That's it. Just enough to keep you out of jail. But they're not telling you how to run your business. They're not showing you how to do a buyer's consultation, right? So I had to find the right brokerage that gave me the training, like Weicker Realtors. That's why I started. And they taught me how to do consultations. They taught me how to run my business. I had to sign up for a coaching course with Tom Ferry.
Wow.
So I had that direction, all right? That it was showing me how to prospect, how to cold call, how to write letters, you know, that kind of stuff. So you can't wait for someone to kind of fall on your lap or see the talent that you have and want to build off that. You have to go out there and find it. Find the right people that, you know, just they may not be able to pour on you like you want them to, but just being in that room, being that, like you spoke about community, just being in that room. It's the things that people are sharing that you pick up on and say, hey, I didn't even think of it from that perspective. Let me give that a shot and see if it'll work out better for me that way. And that's what I've been doing.
Okay.
But before I get cursed out, there's also like Jason Meese from Weicker Realtors, who's my broker. Michael Panisi was another one. Irving Cham. These are individuals that are in leadership roles that they did take a moment because they're not in the field actively working side by side with me. Irv showed me different ways to make money as a realtor as well. Like you got to invest. fix and flip, Mike Panisi, the same. Jason Meese taught me how to manage people a little better because he saw that I'm the person that any and every lead that comes in, I'm going to nurture it. But some things you need to spend time on. Some people you spend time on, and some people you kind of put them in a system and let let the CRM take care of it, right? Because you have a lot of people today that are on Zillow. A friend of mine, Armando, posted it in his stories days ago that I saw, and I agree with. There are a lot of buyers or not buyers, a lot of people that are on Zillow or following pages of realtors that post homes. And it's just something to do. It's entertainment. So like, hey, we go check it out. It's like going to the mall, window shopping. They don't plan on buying anything. They're just wasting your time, right? And then you have people that are really serious, So trying to figure out who those individuals are. I'm using questionnaires and I'm like, where's the pre-approval letter? If you're an investor, can I see your track record? Let me see how serious. If you don't have one, have you spoken to a lender? Do you know your numbers? Do you know what you're getting into? So it's all of those things were taught by these leaders that are in my life that took the time out to stop for a moment to say, okay, Queen, this is how it's done.
So you've done all the things, right? You've self-taught yourself. You brought yourself up. You surround yourself with the right people. A lot of when we hear people talk to us, we hear about, this show is a feel-good show. We all hear about all the good things. What do you think were the hardest things that you faced on the way to this moment, right? To being you, right? To having this influence, to being out in the market and investing and all these pieces. What are the biggest challenges you faced to get to this moment?
What you'll realize is when you start to transition out of just being what your colleagues, your business partners or vendors were introduced to, when you start to change, they change. So let's say my first year and second year in business were my two best years. I was just solely a realtor. I wasn't hosting events. I wasn't coaching. I wasn't doing any of those things. First year, 18 units. Rookie of the year. Second year, 24 units, right? So my first time ever making six figures. And during that time, everyone is my friend. Right? Queen, you're going to represent me on all my deals. Queen, let's, if you have any investment properties, let me know. And these relationships, you come in thinking these are genuine relationships. But when I start to transition into a different lane, then it's like, oh, well, that doesn't align with my goals. And now the person is no longer as present in your life. Or when you call for the same things you called for before, they're like, you probably don't get the same response you would have gotten if you were still giving them the business that you were giving. So you got to be careful and understand that some of the relationships you have, although it may seem genuine, it's just business. And then the real relationships will be tested when you decide, hey, I want to be an investor now. So instead of giving you the deals, I want to keep them for myself. That individual will say, well, I'm so happy for you. Let me help you out. Let me show you the way. That's your friend. But the one that's like, well, why? What's wrong? Why would you do that? Stick to what you've been. No, you're good at this. Stay here. Some people want to keep you where you are. And the moment you start growing, they will try to, get you to doubt yourself. Because you're probably making up 20% of their business. They don't want to see that go. So instead of losing you, I'm going to try to put things in the way to block you, to slow you down, or to discourage you. So I find that to have happened a lot. And I think that's the most painful thing, because the support, now you have to look for it elsewhere, because you may not receive it from the same people you started with.
So I want to jump in and I want to talk more about this, because I think what you brought up is so powerful, and it happens with a lot of people. And that's why it's so important that you surround yourself and you are very careful and you understand who you let in your circle. Because if you surround yourself with like-minded people, like the people that we hang out with every day, when we say that we want to go buy an apartment building, we want to start a business, like that's not weird. The reason why these people around you, whether it's older people that you've been in business with, or it could be family members, friends, they have an expectation of you. And when that expectation does not align with who you are anymore, because the version of you, which is where they were comfortable with their relationship with you, you now all of a sudden have grown, which that's the whole point of life, is to grow and evolve and develop. And now all of a sudden you don't match that up. And then it's because of our ego as a human. And now all of a sudden that person's like, well, I used to, it's kind of like if you were getting food served to you every day by your parent when you're a kid. All of a sudden things change and you get upset, and it's all because of you. But I think that's really, really important to be very careful, because that could deter a lot of people from wanting to grow and develop, because they're afraid that, oh, I'm going to lose these friends, or I'm going to lose these relationships that I used to have.
Well, the tricky thing about that is whoever you were then, I mean, that they were your people then. And you have to be okay with, and it's not to say that they're bad people, right? Those were your people because that's what you attracted. So once you start to evolve, you're going to attract a different type of people, and you have to be okay with letting the old go. If you're letting the old you go, you have to let the old friends go. Sometimes the old business partners, or the old opportunities, the old environments that you were seeking, like it no longer interests you. You're in different rooms now. Change the temperature. The lighting is different. I have more windows, right? I can see better. So I don't, it's painful because when you're we keep talking about the gym. When you're working out and you increase the weights, you're going to feel the muscle tear, and you're going to feel sore. After a while, you get used to it. And I think that's just what it is. Life is just that. As you're evolving, you're growing, you lose. I lost my marriage failed, right? A lot of things failed. A lot of relationships did not work out. I mean, that's like my best friend, but it didn't work out because you're going after something that's for you. And because you're going after something that's for you, if it does not align with the person you used to be and what they were attracted to, business, personal, doesn't matter. You no longer fit that, the type of person they feel comfortable with. And your relationships, you have to be okay with letting it go.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. And Matt, you said something, Queen, you said something also. It's number one, it's natural. I think that's the part that people, you said you're, being afraid of it, right? It's 100% natural. Your example of the muscles, it's all very natural, because the problem is, the way I see it is, the people who stick with you, like you said, your best friend still your best friend, right? There's a reason why, right? Because you both have the same trajectory. Even if you're not on the same street and the same road or the same path, you have the same trajectory. It's ambition. You're still moving forward. Most of the people who want to hold you back are the ones who've decided they've gone far enough and they don't want to go any further. And you're moving further, right? Even people you have who you were probably sending deals to, right? Here you were doing this, you were at a lower, to them, a lower level than they were. Now you're at their level. The fear is that you're going to go further. And people, when they see that, nobody wants to feel like they've never gone, that they've given up in a sense, that they haven't gone all the way, or there's more they could still do. Everybody wants to justify exactly where they are in the moment. So it's natural that you're going to shed some things. Not all of it. Some things will stay, right? Like, our parents, and certain people around us, your best friend, siblings, like, everybody squabbles, but they're going to go with you on that journey because they want to go to the same place most of the time. But I think that's the piece. It's always recognizing the people who they don't want to hold you back, because a lot of times I think people take some things the wrong way. Like, you don't deserve it. You shouldn't have it. Sometimes it's because they don't have it and they don't want to go get it. And it's easier to stop you for them than to go get it themselves. And I think it's always all perspective. It's just seeing people for how they are. And then also not taking it personally, right? Like for you, like you can't take it personally when you're like, someone's like, what the example you gave, like, no, just stay right where you are. This is good for you. And you're like, all right, I'm going to keep going. And if we don't talk anymore, no hard feelings, it's going to be okay. Right. And I think that's the second part, right? Some things are just, you can't take them personally either. And that's the stepping stone to the next path, right? To the next place, because it's going to happen at every single level. I always joke that like I've lived lots of lives. Before I was in real estate, I was in radio, I was a paralegal, I did this, I did that, I did all this other whatever. You live lots of lives, and there are very few things that are exactly the same in my life, from when I was working at a law firm and now that I'm working at Alpha. There's very few things that are the same, but the things that are the same are all the people that went on that ride also for themselves, like my friends growing up who are like, I love that. I'm going this way too, but I'm going up to the left. You're going up to the right, and it was just, I think that's so important that people have to see that, and that, don't take it personally in that moment on your way up. It's going to be okay.
Well, and another reason why I can't take it personally, because I've been on both sides, right? I like the person that's like, oh, I'm hurt that somebody, is no longer around. But then I was a person that also was like, I can't be around because,
we all do it. We all do
I mean, that honesty is good, though. Knowing that you do it, that's like half the battle.
We do it. And then there's some people that I'm like, oh, dog, they're not going to want to be around me after what I just did, There's been times where I've been at a networking event and had one too many drinks, and I'm like, I act a fool. And you
That's
learn.
me on Friday mornings.
Yeah, listen. And then you learn, though. You learn from your mistakes, and it's just like, oh my God, that person really didn't know me, so they probably were like, oh, this girl is crazy, right? But the ones that they know me, they're like, oh, well, Queen, she had a good time, She had a good time, but so that's why I said I don't take anything personally, because I know that some people probably were like, maybe Queen is too much, and there probably were times where Queenella was too much because I have a big personality. I'm outspoken, and I get active, like if you tell me to do something, I'll get active, and sometimes not thinking or considering other people, but that's an awareness, right? So once you have that awareness, it's something you have to work on, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit up here and act like, because there's a mic in front of me, that I'm perfect. I don't have it all together. There's so many things that I need to work on. But it's the ones, to your point, when you first meet them, if they care about you and they want what's best for you, and they're like, look, this is good for you. When you start hearing those words, I think those are the people that stick around, because you will even lose your siblings. It's like, oh, you're Hollywood now. I remember one of my cousins thought I closed a house at $470, and they thought I took home a check $470. And I'm like, no, it don't. It doesn't work like that. I'm selling a house that belongs to someone else. They have you got to break it down. Like, I don't make that type of money money you think off of one deal, but it's a lot of things that I know about me that, as I'm growing and I'm looking back, like, okay, some of the relationships I lost I could have saved in business and in personal relationships if I had done things differently. So I think if someone coming into the business as an investor, as a realtor, lender, it doesn't matter. Come into this business and not be so focused on how everybody else does business. A lot of people are looking at numbers and they lead with that. I'm only talking to you. I'm only in a room offering coffee or dinner or tickets to a show because I want to be able to share some of the business that you have with your other partners. I want to get in, right? So you have to understand that relationship. But I wouldn't lead with that. I'd be a little bit more genuine. If that person you both connect with and you don't have to bribe them or spend money to do business with them, and they truly want to just see how you perform and they care, a lot about their customers, their clients, I think those are relationships that you really need to focus on, because at some point, like I remember we were partying all the time. 2020 to 2022, lenders, title, attorneys, everybody was taking us out. They ain't taking us out anymore. They're not taking us out anymore. A lot of them have folded, they just went quiet, but now I think people are really understanding how important it is to build genuine relationships and how we need to look out for each other, and be careful of how you talk, how you present yourself. A lot of these parties, maybe you should babysit one drink and not have one too many, because you got to be careful of the things you say, because at the end of the day, it's similar to politics. I may rub you the wrong way and think like, oh, he's nobody, but your relationship to my guy can shut down my whole system. So be careful what comes out of your mouth. Avoid certain topics and just go there to do business. Get what you came here to do. Build the right relationships and go home. Go home. Keep your mouth shut. Go home.
Do you feel like that's your special sauce? Like that's your thing, is that you figured that part out where you're like, I know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna and not to put you in a box like you were saying before. We don't put ourselves in a box of what we are, but you're like, whatever the situation is, you're like, I know why I'm here.
Right.
I'm gonna go do this. Right. And I think that's really powerful, right? Because a lot of people, they walk into a room and they go, what am I supposed to do here? Right. Do you think that's what it is for you? Is this that awareness of like, every time you walk into a room, you're like, I know I am here.
Every time I walk into a room, it's with a purpose.
I was gonna say that to you because I remember when we first did that Find and Fund event, you wowed me. So
that speech.
But I remember you talked in your speech and you talked about, I looked up all the people that registered and I researched all of you. I was like, stalker. But no.
Didn't you do that yesterday, man?
You so funny.
But you said, you're like, listen, I looked up all of you and I did that for a purpose. Because you wanted to be intentional with the conversation. So you knew what to say. Instead of spending 5 minutes just kind of with the pleasantries and getting to know somebody, you really knew how to go right into that conversation. And I would say, from what I've seen and what I've heard now from you, is your power of intention is incredible. And I think that's definitely got to be a secret sauce for you.
Well, and I realized again, so I didn't leave the porch until I was like 33. Believe it or not, I was a homebody. I was always in the house. When I was coming up as a child, my mom is Pentecostal, super religious. I wore skirts every day. We didn't go to the movies. That was like against our religion. So it was a lot of things we didn't do. And then straight from my mama's house, I ended up getting married, having 3 children. So when I say I didn't leave the porch, I didn't leave the porch, okay? Coming into the real estate industry with the parties, triple play, and all of that. And all I know is family, right? So I come into this environment and I'm thinking, oh, I can be just as comfortable and be myself and not understanding different cultures, shaking hands with people I probably shouldn't shake hands with, a kiss on the cheek that might be offensive. And I realized I had to be intentional. I had to network with a purpose, and I had to have a sense of awareness of the people that are in the room and how they probably want to be handled, and no whispering, like I'm a good whisperer, but that could be, read wrong. So you just got to understand etiquette, right? Business etiquette and when networking, not to talk too much and what things to talk about, what not to talk about. So yes. Did I go down that list? Absolutely. I went down that list to see who was going to be in the room because I had to make sure that also we were matching the right people. Because if everyone that were in the room are all realtors, then it's like, okay, we were trying to do an investors event, trying to get people to fix and flip and introduce alpha funding. And it's like, if it's nothing but realtors, bro, are we targeting the right people? Are we getting the right people in the room? Clearly, we probably are not putting the right people on the lineup, but we had nothing but investors, maybe a small portion of realtors. And I think it worked out.
It worked out very well. And I feel, and I picked up on this from the very short time that I've gotten to know you, your heart, your love, your passion. What is that why that drives you every day? I want to know for you, like, what is it? Because you obviously are doing all these things. We're going to continue to talk about a few more, but I really want to really dial in on why you're so passionate, because you could feel it when you're around you.
The passion, I don't know where it comes from. I'm not going to get too religious, but I know it's God through me and I feel like God, whatever passion you have, is God put something in you because that's what you're supposed to do. Right? And it may not be for you. It may be for someone else. And I feel like as we evolve and we absorb information or different experiences, and as I'm talking, even if it's only one person that's listening to this audio right now or the visual, if it's just that one person was supposed to receive this message, and then they're going to make an impact on someone else's life or on the world. You just never know, right? Someone inspired Obama, someone inspired Trump, someone inspired these individuals that are in leadership, right? And it's like it could be that one person that's considered a nobody that makes a big change, right? So in my opinion, I just feel like, what I do, it's God's doing. He's trying to connect with somebody, and if I don't do it, someone else gonna get the job done. So I might as well be obedient. When I'm dealing with people, that's the first thing my mom told me. You're dealing with souls, right? So regardless of what, these individuals, everyone can walk in a room. There's the three of us at the table. We got the cameraman. We all are smiling because we're in this environment. It demands for us to be professional, right? But if I ask a question that might trigger something from your childhood, we probably be in tears and talking about how we was mistreated, we missed out on this, or maybe you don't have the best relationship with your dad or your daughter or whoever, right? We are people, and we deal with real problems, right? We're not robots. We're not systems. We're not computers, right? So with that being said, understanding that the type of impact that I'll make could either make your situation better, or you may want to go home and off yourself, you know? So
it's a little dark.
But you know what I mean? I got to be very careful because it's a lot of people that, were celebrities. What's my guy? He was Miss Doubtfire. He was
Robin
Williams.
Yeah, like somebody that makes you laugh. How could someone that can make you laugh and make so many amazing movies be the guy that felt so alone? And you know what I mean? So with that said, I genuinely care about people. I genuinely do. And even my worst enemy, if I know they're my enemy, I will still say hello, because I'm not going to be the reason that you are where you are. If anything, I want to try to pull you out of that situation, especially through real estate. And I'm not trying to connect you with anyone that does. If that's a hard money lender, just because they put some money in my pocket to get it done, if I feel like that they're going to screw you over, like if I'm on this platform here, is because I stand on it, like I stand by it. I think you guys are good people, and I'm not going to put anyone in harm's way because I just feel like that's going to come back to me. The law of reciprocity. If I'm putting that out there, then I'm going to be in a situation where I could probably lose it all because I did it to someone else for $1. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Absolutely, it's not worth it. It's always good to I always say positive energy is the most powerful thing you have. Negative energy is easy. It's easy to be negative.
Yeah, if I put out good energy, I'm expecting it to come back. Maybe not from that same person, but it's coming.
So for anyone that has not attended any of your events that you have in the past, I know you have a big one that's coming up at the end of the year.
Yes.
And if you also want to share any other ones, but I know Q4 Mastermind is a big event for you.
Yes,
Can you tell us more about it?
So Q4 Mastermind is always the first Saturday of every October, which is the start of the fourth quarter, right? Well, it's not the start of the fourth quarter. October 1st would be fourth quarter, but you know what I mean, like the first Saturday. And the idea is, each year I bring out a lot of influential people and then some people that are local that have the information that I feel like we need. So the first year we had MG, the mortgage guy. We had a few local investors. We had Welby Aselli at My Best 197. Many know him. We had Jose, the credit dude. And all of the sponsors that were there, I told them, hey, I want you to be a part of the program. So I don't want you to just be a sponsor. I want you to grab the mic and give insight. So I structured the program where if, let's say, we were talking about hard money, right? The lineup was a bunch of investors and they were just discussing their hard money deals. I wanted the hard money lender to introduce them, right? You don't have to say I'm a sponsor. I want you to be a part of the act. So we did that, being strategic because I called them my partners. I want my partners to be able to be a part of this experience and to be the person that the audience would look to them and trust them, because if you're holding a mic, you may be credible, right? But the information wasn't just, I think the information at the time, because it was so fast and it was my first, everyone enjoyed it, but there's always room for improvement. So looking back at that, I'm like, okay, it was so much information. A lot of people took notes, but then we picked up a lot of notebooks off the ground. And I think because we tend to write notes, we start networking, we put things down and then forget we walked in with something, we walk out and you're like, I left my notepad. So I said, okay, I have to figure out something else. So after that, we did Q4 Mastermind. I wanted it to be where we had a projector screen and everyone had to do a presentation. And I said, I want you to really break everything down, because maybe as you're just freely speaking about the topic, it's not in order, right? You're not following it step by step, because it's more like a Q&A. I want it to be where you go up for 45 minutes and you actually break this thing down, where even if I lost my notes, I kind of understand the system, because there's so much information. People always say, go on Google. It's a lot of information on Google. But if you don't know what to look for, you don't know what to ask Google to give you information about, you're only going for what you've been exposed to, right? There's parts of my body or diseases and things that's out there that I didn't even know exist. Like, working out. Oh, my God, talking about parts of body. When you're working out, you'll be sore. I'm like, oh, my goodness, well, what is that? And I'm thinking I injured something. And they're like, oh, no, that's just your whatever part of your body, whatever muscle it is. And I'm now learning, like, okay, I know what quads are, the lats, I know, whatever. I don't even, am I saying these things?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I love it.
Okay, so understanding glutes, where someone else will probably have a different term for it, but understanding what they really are, now I know what to look up, right? So I wanted it to be that, where they gave the people the information that's scattered and put it in order for you to really understand. Because I can search up ARV and I can search up cap rate, I can search up ROI, but now how do we put it all together for it to make sense? Where even if I lost my notes, at least I walked away with something like, oh, okay, now I get it. You start here first, then you do this, then you do that, and you should end up with this. If you don't end up with that, then this is how you start over. This is how you clean a mess up. Or these are the people that you go to. Make it simple. So that's what Q4 Mastermind is. Q4 Mastermind is bringing people in the space to not only network amongst ourselves and creating that community that we hope to have, but it's also bringing individuals like Mike and Matt. Hopefully this year will join us. But to talk about, for example, we're talking about hard money lending. What does that process look like? Because everybody knows, oh, get a hard money. If you're doing a fix and flip, get hard money. Okay, yeah, but now what are the requirements? What if I don't have a track record? Well, maybe you can, if you own rental properties, that would be considered a part of your track record. If you were a GC on a few properties, hey, you didn't fix and flip them, but you GC'd a lot of properties. Hey, we might use that to help you with the better terms. So explain, what type of documents do I need? Like, that's what I want. I don't want it to just be a Q&A. I want it to be where everything is laid out in front of them, and at least they know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
At least they know where to start.
I love the fact that it's comprehensive, Mike.
No, I was going to say, so that's the first Saturday of every year?
Every October, the first Saturday every year.
And then, first Saturday of October every year.
Every year.
And where
this will be the fourth one. First one we had at NJIT. The second one we had at the Doubletree by North Penn Station. And the third one, which was last year, and this year is going to be at the Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth.
Ooh,
yeah.
I love that spot. Good venue.
Really nice there.
Good venue.
Yeah, really nice.
Where can people go to
play a little golf?
Where can people go to find out about it, or who's going to be there and how to sign up?
So if they go to queenella.homes, they can get access to that information. Early bird tickets is always low because you're buying it early in the year. The closer you get to the date, of course, is more. But we're feeding you, right? There's a DJ. There's entertainment. We had Wallow. I don't know if you know who Wallow is. Gilly. If you're an Eagles fan, you know who Gilly is, because Gilly was like the mascot for football this year. Like, I wasn't even an Eagles fan until now. But, we had his cousin there speak. We had Indio Champ, some of the young kids, if you're into fitness, you know who the muscle guy is, kicking pizza and food out of people's hands. We had him there to talk about fitness. And then, unfortunately, the year that we were talking about wealth and health, which was last year, we also had Fat Man Scoop scheduled to be our DJ. And the day we announced that he was going to be the DJ, 3 days later, he died on stage in Canada. It was crazy. It was crazy. So, yeah, we're pulling people from everywhere. Anyone that could inspire and give the blueprint, no gatekeeping. That's why I say presentation, because I don't want you to just come up and it's all fluff or surface level. I want you to show them from start to finish and everything that happens in between, taking notes or not. If they lose their notes, again, at least they know where to start and at least they know who to go to if things go wrong. And that has to be the takeaway.
I really love that.
So this is definitely a can't miss event. You have many, like this is going to be out probably in the springtime here of this year. So you have plenty of time. If you haven't signed up for the event, definitely sign up for the event. 1st October, Saturday.
First Saturday of October. I said it wrong, so say it right.
Yeah, the first Saturday
I think
in
this
October.
year is going to be October 4th. I think last year was the 5th, so it would probably be Saturday, October 4th. If they go to Q4 Mastermind on Instagram, because I just separated that own page for that, and they can follow and they can see the past speakers and the type of conversations we've had. You know, we've had Charles Noonan on from the land bank. So many people are buying like lots and land out of state, even, you know, for a low price. You know, like $400. One told me they got a deed for like $400, and they're gonna build a property off of that. Of course, there are not? Exactly. Of course, there are some stipulations, like, you know, they put restrictions in place, or you have to have something done in a certain period of time, or you can't sell it, or whatever the case may be. But the fact that people are actually applying this information, we had Charles Noonan on a Zoom and it was like a 4-day event last year, the first time we did it. And he went through the step-by-step process. So I just realized, again, we talked about in the very beginning, how I care about results, right? To be able to articulate well and give information is okay. But to hear success stories, I'm like, yes, now I can brag about this thing too. Like our program works, you know, our events, people are actually able to feed their families when they leave here, you know. That's what's been happening with Q4 Mastermind. So that's something else that I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah,
that's
and
exciting.
I can speak as a testimonial. Queenella events are incredible. We get so much out of it. So if you are around, definitely make a point to do that.
I'm going to experience it this year.
Queenella.
I'm going to
go. There we go. I got Mikey on board.
Got to include you in the program.
All
yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
And we'll play a little golf before.
Right.
All right, I'm okay
we'll
with that
get
too.
producer Joe as well. If anyone wants to contact you, I know your website is queenella.homes.com, or no, queenella.homes is your website.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Instagram, if anyone wants to reach out to you, Queenella_homes.
Yes.
And then Queenella_realtor.
Yes. So Queenella_homes is professional, clean, cut, everything real estate. Queenella_realtor is more of me. It's who I am. And it's like no filter. So if you pick and choose which one you're interested in. I know a lot of people, they just like, I just want real estate. I just want to know that. I don't need to see that you had a cup of coffee this morning, or, you know, whatever. I don't need to know about your personal life. I don't need to know about your dating life, right? So I have two pages, Queenella_homes, and then Queenella_realtor, to remind people that, hey, I do real estate, top of mind, you know.
We're going to put all that in the show notes. We're going to put the website and her
Yes.
Instagrams in our show notes if you're looking for them.
Thank you.
Queenella, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you.
today.
This was great. This was a
Thank
lot
you.
of
This
fun.
was fun, yeah. Cool.
Another episode of the Mike and Matt Show. Have a great day, everyone.
See you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Mike and Matt Show. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Please subscribe, follow, like, and comment on whatever podcast platform you listen to all of your favorite podcasts. If you have a guest that you would like to see on the show, or have a topic that you would like to hear covered, please email us at podcast@alphafunding.com. Again, I'm your host, Matt Weber, and my partner, Michael Strasser. Be the best version of yourself and take action. Life is meant to be explored. Be great, friends.